So now that April is over, it has officially been a year since I quit my job to run my jewelry business full time. And I want to talk about some of the things that went well, things that I learned, and what I would probably do if I were to start over in 2025, or if you're considering going full time in your jewelry business, some advice or things that I'm glad I did that kind of saved me this year. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Adriana. I've been running my handmade jewelry business for 4 years. I started silversmithing about 3.5 years ago, and then wax carving about 3 years ago, and casting about 1.5 years ago. I've been running my jewelry business and working full-time the entire time. Some of those times I was in school, I also have a family, and so quitting my full-time job was a really big deal. At the time of quitting my full-time job, my business was starting to pick up, but it wasn't really at the place where I would feel super comfortable quitting my job. I was making more steady income and it was growing, but it definitely wasn't a super safe place to be. But if you've been here for a while, then you know I was working an extremely toxic job at the time, and thank God. If I never would have had that job, I never would have had a reason to leave out of desperation and just make this jump and bet on myself. And I'm so glad that I did. When I decided to go full-time, I told myself to give myself a year, as long as I could pay my bills, that I wouldn't make myself feel bad for not making a lot of money or money to even save. Thankfully, I can say I was able to accomplish that this year. I did so much better than I ever expected. The bar I set for myself, I did exceed, which I'm so grateful for. A huge part of me quitting my job last year, and kind of the catalyst of being like, okay, I'm getting out of here, I'm done with this, I don't have to do this anymore, I'm gonna bet on myself. That was working with brands. And although my jewelry side of the business was growing so much, so was my opportunity to work with brands, which kind of gave me a safety net throughout my business throughout the year. Anytime I had slow periods, at least I had some companies to work with that could help supplement those ups and downs. Some of my biggest milestones this year were working with a few different brands, starting my casting services for other jewelers. That was something that I didn't do in the beginning whenever I initially quit my job, but I knew that I needed to also take that risk and diversify in other ways. So I did start offering casting services for other jewelers. I started that in October, and I've loved it so far. It's been a great way to use the tools that I already have and diversify my income. I've had really good months this year. I've had months that far exceeded my expectations, but then on the same note, I've also had months that were really slow. So having things like casting for other people or sponsorships or Patreon was another big thing that I did this year. I started it on Instagram and moved it to Patreon, but pretty much some kind of third-party service selling some of the knowledge that I have. I try to provide a bunch of information that I can for free here on YouTube, but I do get a ton of messages from other jewelers asking questions, and I do want to help. So Patreon helps me set aside time to help other jewelers at an affordable price, but it also helps me pay my bills. So that was another big milestone and something that I'm super grateful that I did. Speaking of sponsorships, this video is very kindly sponsored by Rio Grande. If you're not familiar with who Rio Grande is, they are a jewelry wholesale company that's been around since 1944, and they have everything you could possibly need in order to make jewelry. The things that I tend to go to them for are gemstones. I get all of my casting grains from them, any wire, bezel strip. They have jewelers benches, consumables. I get a lot of my polishing equipment from them as well. They are also where I got my pneumatic engraving system, my Encore vise. I have a lot of tools from them. I also have a code that they gave to us. It's just Matera Made all in caps, and that gets you $20 off of shipping. So I will leave that in the description. Thank you so much to Rio Grande for sponsoring this video and helping support the channel and for these videos to continue to go out. So this year has just been a year full of growth. I can't say how grateful I am. Everything just went so much better than I could have ever expected. My jewelry business alone grew. My casting clients have grown, the casting side of things. My Patreon has grown. We have a really great community over there. I've made really good relationships with some really great brands. But on the other side of that, there are some places that I've kind of struggled with. There are two things that I found a little challenging this year, and I've touched on them in the past. I don't want to go too deep into it because, again, nothing I can say on like the downsides outweigh the positives of running your own business and being your own boss. Obviously, the big one is the money and always feeling like you need to be on top of where your money is going to come from next month. You can make a lot more money than you would expect, but then you can also make a lot less money than you would expect. So that can be really stressful, not knowing where your money is coming from. And then also just a lack of human interaction. Something that I found that's helped a lot with that has been doing lives during the day. I actually really enjoy doing YouTube lives and TikTok lives during the day. I don't get to do it every single day, but I try to do it at least a few times a week just so I can have conversations with other adults. I miss having like work friends or just conversations, side conversations. And so that has been a little challenging for me, being someone who loves being around other people and talking to other people. So I mean, I don't know a lot of people in this area, and then when my family comes home from school or from work, I love spending time with them, so it's hard to want to make friends outside of, I don't know. Anyway, it's just a downside, but I know there are things I could be doing to make other, like, girlfriends. That's something that'll just have to come later down the road. So these are some of the things that I feel like added to my success that I had this year and my safety this year. And so if you're wanting to go full-time anytime soon, listen to this list. Hopefully it can help you create like a nice, safe place to be. So my first big important piece of advice is to please put your eggs in many different baskets. Please don't just rely on your sales, because sales go up and down and up and down and up and down. And at the end of the day, you've got bills to pay, you've got groceries to buy, you've got mouths to feed, and relying on just sales is scary. I can say last month was a good month, but compared to other months, it was terrifying how drastic they can be from other months. So if you can grow your social media so that you can work with brands, and consider something like Patreon, selling your knowledge, or making a YouTube channel. This YouTube channel was a really big part of some of my income this year. Having a lot of ways that you can make money, whether that's offering other services within your business, YouTube, Patreon, sponsorships, whatever you can do to bring in more income, that's going to help you in those slow months, and it's going to ease some of that anxiety about like around money and the lack thereof, or the uncertainty of. It's been a dream come true working with some of the brands I've been able to work with, but I would be lying if I said it wasn't critical to me paying my bills every month. It's a big part of me being able to run this business full time and to make these videos and to take time out of jewelry making to make these videos. So however many different ways you can figure out how to bring in some money, please do that, because there will be months that could shock you and you need to be safe financially. Another thing that I feel like added to my success, which I still feel like I could probably do a little bit better on, but that would be posting on social media at least minimum 3 to 4 times a week. If you can, at least 3. Unfortunately, social media punishes you when you stop posting. So if you can try to not go like a week or 2 without posting, then it will reward you. If you are finding a hard time with social media, just keep posting, trying different things, try voiceovers, try ASMR, try filming more cinematically or scaling it back and being more casual. Whatever you see that starts to get an uptick, or whatever you see that starts to work, then just repeat it, and keep posting, keep putting yourself out there. There were times where I would have days and days and days without a sale, and then just out of kind of like worry of not having sales, I would share a picture of a ring or earrings, and then I would get a sale that day, because it's just putting yourself out in front of your audience constantly always being a reminder that you're there, that you're making, and look at what I made today. Anything. It can be the most mundane stuff. What you post doesn't have to be some long, extravagant post. I watch personally some of the most mundane, repetitive stuff from some of my favorite content creators. So whatever you're posting, it doesn't have to be extraordinary. Just be consistent and make it something that you would want to watch and have a hook in the beginning. All the things that people say, people repeat themselves and they all say the same things for a reason. It's because it's true. Have a hook. Have good, clear footage. Like, have good lighting. Use your back camera. All of those things. And be really consistent more than anything. My next piece of advice is to do the things that scare you. It kind of goes in line with diversifying, but there were a few things that I was so wishy-washy about because I was terrified. Like offering casting services, I was terrified to offer these services where I could possibly mess up someone's casting. My power could go out and the kiln could be off for hours and it could mess up, anything can happen when you're offering a service for someone, but it's not a reason to not offer it. And it's turned out to be one of the best things that I could have done for my business this year. Patreon as well. I was terrified to commit myself to offering a live a month and tips videos and giving one-on-one help and all those things. I was terrified to sign myself up for something else, to sign myself up for more time being taken away from jewelry. And it's been such a good experience. Yes, it's time consuming, but it's so rewarding and also has been a really good way to diversify my income and have some level of consistency every month in like knowing what I can count on every month. So if there's some aspect of your business that kind of scares you, some risk that you want to take that could possibly grow your business, do it scared. Just do it and you will be rewarded for it. And if you find that you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. That's kind of how I ended up looking at my casting thing was, okay, well, I'm already casting for myself. I'm not going to stop casting for myself. So if I find that I don't like casting for others, I'll stop. I just won't do it. And thankfully, it's been a really good experience. The last tip, and probably the most important tip, is that you need to be charging what you need to survive. It is not enough to take your cost and multiply it by 2, and that's what you charge. You have to be super strict with yourself about knowing what your bills are every single month, what your overhead is, how much materials you're using. Making jewelry is such a big operation that there's so many little things that if you miss those little things in your cost, they're going to add up and you're going to start doing your profit loss every quarter, every month, and you're going to realize that you're barely breaking even, you're barely making profit. You need to make enough to not only replace all of the things that you're using, your consumables, the metal, the gemstones, but also to pay yourself a comfortable wage and continue to grow your business in a sustainable way. So please, if you don't have some kind of really strong formula, some kind of calculator to calculate your cost of what you should be charging for your jewelry, please find one. I have one in my Patreon. It's not a plug. You don't have to use it, but please make sure that you are taking the time to add up what everything truly costs, calculating your accurate overhead, what your email costs, what your Shopify costs, what your power costs, like everything, all those little things. I feel like people forget to add them in because they consider them to be so small, but it really, really, really adds up. And there are so many people that snuff themselves out so early because they're not charging a realistic price to survive in this field. This career is so expensive to maintain. So please just make sure that you're being really mindful and really fair to yourself and your time and your knowledge, and that you're charging well for your art. Overall, my first year blew my expectations out of the water, and I'm so, so, so grateful. I would be lying if I said that this next year didn't scare the shit out of me. Just with everything that's going on in the world, the economy, it's all feels so uncertain. Thankfully, I manufacture all of my jewelry I'm one of the lucky ones. So I'm hopeful that the economy can turn around, that people continue to keep their jobs and have income and have money to spend and everything that makes the wheels go round on the bus. I'm hoping that this year stays the same. If you're a fellow business owner and you're scared or you're nervous, you're not the only one. If you've noticed sales going down over the last 2 months, you're not the only one. So it's even more of a reason to diversify, to share, to just do more this year. I have a feeling it's going to be a scrappy year. If I had a goal of something that I want to do this year, something that I'm really considering, although the economy thoughts are kind of holding me back, I really want to teach a class in person. And I'm also considering, thoughts been in my head of keeping an eye out for some kind of storefront possibilities for maybe in the future. So those are just a few of my goals. Hopefully it's a normal 2025. Hopefully I have a normal year 2 in business. But the only thing that makes me feel safe is that I have you guys here. I have y'all support. I have my casting customers. I have my really great sponsors that keep the wheels on this bus going as well. And thankfully I have a lot of really loyal customers that love jewelry that keep coming back, which is amazing. If you are not a business owner or you just like watching my videos, and that's really sweet and thank you, this is also a good reminder to support all of your small businesses. You do not have to buy my jewelry. You can watch my video, you can like it, you can share it, you can comment on my videos. Your local coffee shops though, your local boutiques, your local barbecue place, all of those places, when things start getting weird in the world, they suffer first. So if you still have the means, if you are able to go and patron those places, please do so. But specifically, I do want to say thank you here on YouTube. This was a huge part of my business this year. My YouTube has grown so much, which obviously is a big part of my sponsorships as well. So I do want to say thank you so much to everyone that watches my YouTube videos. It was a big part of having a successful year this year. I wish I could give you a big hug through the camera, and I hope you guys are having a good beginning of your year. I hope we all have a good year. But yeah, my first year was really, really, really good. I'm so grateful. It was such a risk. It was such a scary moment in time, and everything turned out well. Knock on wood. So I will go. I will see you guys in my next video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you're interested in my Patreon, if you want some individual help, if you want some tips videos, I've got 60, I think, tips videos, and I do one live a month over there as well. And yeah, I will put that link in the description, and I hope you guys have a good day. I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.